So when you go to, when you go to Yad Vashem in Israel, which is the memorial to the Holocaust, we honor the righteous Germans who died, immigrant who was in danger. Would I, if I was going through the airport and I saw somebody pull aside a brown or black person and be in some way interrogating them, would I stand there or would I walk away? And I think those questions ultimately have to start with ourselves.
Elle, you are brilliant. That is exactly why I'm holding this room. I wish I could do more. I wouldn't mind being shot for my country. I wish we had more people here. Steve, I see you, by virtue of the sacrifice he has made, to have an opinion, even if I disagree with it. Steve, what do you think?
Well, I'm not trying to go at anyone specifically because I hear this all the time. But this assumption that somehow everybody that voted Republican is moronic, and everyone that voted Republican somehow is gave belief of their senses to reality and facts. It's much more nuanced and it's much more complicated than that. You can break it down if that's the way you want to see people. I mean, believe in that everything that we stand for, and we can't go there anymore. For instance, components. When people seen our southern border just being overrun with migration waves after migration waves, just pummeling our southern border in complete chaos, that became a motivation.
Wait, the bathrooms or the borders? I know you have concerns about both. You mentioned just
well, I mean,
why don't you pick one though? It's hard to follow.
I'm trying to articulate the facets of what may drive someone to vote for or against something.
Okay, so now, Jane makes a fair point. You have to stay on one thing. If you want to pick bathrooms, pick bathrooms. If you want to pick borders, pick borders. But I think it's hard to engage in a discussion when you have a shotgun as a...
Well, Alan, what I was trying to explain to you, it's like the many facets of what a complicated decision tree in any subject has many points to it. That's what I'm trying to articulate. And all I hear from people when they talk about Republicans and what maybe motivated them is there is out of touch reality, when it may just be, it could just be that we have a disagreement about how to construct a society and what becomes palatable as a social compact. That's what governments are. They're a social compact between people. That's why we have, right. That's why we have such a division here. Okay. And if your starting point is that my disagreement is with someone that's lost touch with reality, it's awful hard to negotiate.
Well, Steve, let's just see if we
can
agree on some facts.
How about the topic at hand?
Wait. Let's just start with some facts. I'm perfectly willing to entertain both of the ladies here, but I want to see if Steve agrees on a couple of facts. Was Donald Trump a convicted felon? Did he get 34 felonies?
That was a misuse of judicial power in a way that was unbelievable.
According to you, Steve, according to you and according to Fox News. But these were
attorneys and U.S. federal attorneys that has articulated this subject.
You can always find, Steve, someone who disagrees with a judicial decision. Do you agree that we need to live by the rules of a court?
Yeah, but hold it. That's there. Madison and Jefferson talked about the misuse of judicial powers when our country was first formed. James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, two of the most important figures in the founding of this country, talked about it. It's relevant.
I'm trying to summarize it because this is just going to go on. You don't agree with the decision that the court made, and you find people who align with your view that they don't agree with the decision that the court made, but you still do believe in the American courts when they suit your opinion. Is that right?
No, I look at each court case and analyze it on its merit.
And
That's
your
it.
opinion,
And if the merits justify,
Lose the goalpost.
what did you say? Your opinion, Steve, is superior to the opinion of the jury that was justly sat. Let me ask you, so we're not going to agree on this. Let's just agree that we're not going to agree.
no, we're not.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm eager to maintain what common ground we can find. Do you agree that it is wrong for this Democratic House member to be held captive in the Texas House?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
I'm referring to the woman in the article who is a Texas representative. Her only crime was getting elected to the Texas State House and refusing to be part of a quorum. Do you agree that that's a reason to hold an American captive?
I don't know Texas law well enough, or the House rules that are involved here to articulate one way or the other. I plead ignorance on the facts.
Thank you. Jane, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Earlier.
No,
I
it's
just
okay.
want to say that what I'm hearing is a bunch of denying, deflecting, and the move.
People illegally. It was a mandate or a function of the Bradley effect. People could not imagine a black woman president. It's that simple.
That's your projection. Steve and I and others
That's
may
my
have
opinion.
a different.
It's not a projection. It's an
Well,
opinion.
it's your opinion, but it's still considered a projection. You're projecting your opinion. I am projecting my opinion. You may not agree with my opinion.
Hey, can we, before we leave the Texas woman and Steve, can I jump in with something?
Please,
This is like a
please
very
do.
good conversation.
Please do.
Yeah, so the idea that we sort of don't know the facts enough to understand what's going on here, like if you work with law enforcement, like you understand like the different evidentiary standards that exist for taking different actions as a law enforcement officer, at least at some level, right? Like you must. So like I don't understand. Sorry, did I cut out for a second? I was getting a call.
No, we still have you.
Oh, you heard me. Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So like you know there's different evidentiary standards, and you also know that there has to be a law that is being applied, and that's not actually what's happening here. And it's like not a hard thing to look at. I mean, it's like trying to make an excuse for a police officer who pulled someone over because they thought they looked funny, or they don't think that someone like that should be driving that kind of car. Like those are indefensible actions, at least under the law. So I don't understand how you think that this is so complex. And just briefly, there are different states and different jurisdictions where juries have different standards. I believe, like for example, in Louisiana, I'm pretty sure that it's like a 10 to 2 to get a conviction. But
Okay,
that's sort of
I'm a little.
Yeah, and you articulate to me the law as it's written that she was charged with, or the procedure that may be in place in the Texas House that was invoked. I know neither of those. So in order for me to draw a conclusion about whether this was appropriate or not, I would have to actually know the law. And then my question to you would be, do you know the law, and was the law as it was charged misused?
No, what happened was they freestyled about law enforcement, right? So law enforcement is very persuasive. The bailiff or whoever it was that operates in the bailiff or whoever it was that operates in the Texas government saying, you're not allowed to leave right now, we're not going to let you leave. To tell, for her to convince them that she was somehow innocent of something. It's like, you have to tell the person that you're detaining why you're detaining them within a certain prescribed amount of time and based on a certain prescribed number of reasons.
24 to 48 hours, they have to be told what they're being charged with, or they must be immediately released.
I didn't say charged, I said detained. That's not the same thing.
Charged or detained. It's not possible.
You do not have 24 hours to tell someone why you're detaining them.
In the state of Texas, you have 24 to 48 hours of detainment. After that, they must be charged. If not, they must be released. Listen to the full statement.
You're literally saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. You're not addressing the fundamental point. You're not addressing the fundamental point, which is you have to justify detaining somebody. I agree with you that you have to charge someone. Not even contentious. It's just like, cool, there's a reason why we're detaining you. And, you're going to have to come downtown for the detainment to be released. This isn't like a complicated thing. It's not some sort of gray area. This is very, very established under law.
Hey, can we move on, Your Honor?
Well, I'd love to get Steve to answer my question instead of other people jumping in with nonsense.
Yeah, let's let Steve answer the question, the specific question, and please, people, let these two have their discussion. I will interrupt it when it becomes completely ununderstandable.
Okay, so according to what you're saying here, she was getting ready to leave the House floor, and she was
Leaving the Capitol until you signed it.
And as a matter of principle, Steve, let's just not argue about specific details. As a matter of principle,
Sure, but that's not what actually happened here. There was some other standard that was created on the fly.
Well, I don't know about legislative matters by the police. Now, does that apply to legislative matters? I don't know. But I do know in my case that they didn't have to have a charge.
it'd be okay for the Speaker of the House and the Governor of Texas to detain someone because their presence is necessary for a quorum, regardless of what their vote is. Is that your point?
Well, it could be depending on what the agreed standard is in the state of Texas. I've seen this, like if you're a firefighter and someone's injured and you try and walk away without rendering assistance, you can be charged.
Well, because in the U.S. House, in the federal House, you could actually ask a representative to make a quorum. So it may well be Texas law.
And if it is, and you know, each legislative body has, just like where I'm a city councilman, we have our own standards and policies, and we have to stare at our council meetings. And there are things that will get you arrested.
Okay. Steve, thank you for cooperating in this discussion. I know it gets emotional for you. Your Honor, I hope that you feel that we heard you. I think we probably carried this one as far as go ahead, Your Honor.
I mean, just completely dodged it. I mean, he's saying that in other situations there's laws that apply, which is like, okay, yes, we all agree that laws exist. In a particular situation, which is obviously, dodging. Well, if I murder someone, I could be detained. Like, yeah, of course.
I think
law exists. I agree.
Why in the House of Representatives for the United States is there sergeant at arms?
Why do you find everything that Donald Trump does to be okay, regardless of how immoral it is? If he has 34 felonies, you agreed that we shouldn't have a president with 34 felonies. Thank you. I take that as a win. I really take that as a win, and I hope when this idiot is out of office, we can agree as both Democrats and Republicans. We don't ever again.
I'm not trying to dodge. I'm trying to be genuinely truthful here. I'm not sure within each chamber.
Jay, if you want
Jay,
now,
go ahead, Jay. I'll give Anson a chance after. Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say 3, maybe 4 quick things. Number one, in regards to detainment, arrest, and charging, police officers do not legally have to tell you why they are detaining you. It's just commonly known as good practice. They should tell you why they are detaining you always, but legally they do not have to. That's just number one. Number two, depending on the state you're in, they have between 24 to 72 hours to charge you, or they must release you. If they do not, they have to place charges. Number three, in the state of Texas, and this is the entire controversy about all this bullshit that's going on right now, they have something that's called call to the House, where all House members miss to arrest you as they have to show up because you were not excused by the sergeant at arms at the time. So if you weren't excused, at least that's what the court is trying to make it appear as, then you can be arrested. That's what they're trying to do here. Is this legal? I mean, by the courts it is. Has this shit ever been done before in the state of Texas? No. That's why this is so as it is right now. Because Texas is known, at least their state legislature is known for breaking quorum to not have bullshit legislation go through. They did it in 2021, they did it in 2022, they did it in 2019, they did it in 2020, and they did it back in 2016. I mean, this is the Texas has ever broken quorum. But the fact that they are sending out, or at least trying to get new rulings in order to enforce quorum, that is a little scary to me. That's all.
Okay, so Jay, I would just want to get you on record for two things, just because it gets very confusing. Number one, do you think someone with 34 felonies should ever be president of the United States again?
No,
That's
I
such a
don't think
bitch.
so.
Good. And number two, do you think that it is right for this woman to have to sign a monitoring deal with police to be able to have her freedom?
No, and that also wasn't in the court documents either. That was ruled by the Texas State Supreme Court. So she should be released if they've already completed their business.
Thank you. Anson, go ahead.
Is it against the law? I'm not talking about rules or tradition or even moral acts. Is it against the law to break a quorum, leave the state and break a quorum?
So no, the leaving of the state is not a violation of law. But if the governor then
Okay, all right. That
Well, it is now, though. That's the thing. Like this,
Marshall gets modded
Wait a
immediately.
minute.
Okay, hold on. Let's let Anson make his points, and then we'll let Marshall make his report. Go ahead, Anson.
It is not against the law to purposely break quorum and even leave the state in order to achieve that goal. It's not against the law. Therefore, she cannot be arrested as a lawbreaker for taking that action, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it against the law for the state police to follow someone not because they are suspected of about to be breaking the law, but to follow someone because they are about to disrupt some kind of political process? Can the state police legally follow someone under those kinds of circumstances?
That's not the question. The
No,
question is, that's your question. But
That's
what I want
my
to I understand that's your question. But the point is, she was being asked to sign a document giving them permission to do it.
Okay, and she refused to do it. That's not breaking the law, right?
I think
she's
we're
being
forgetting
held.
a clear.
That is exactly
we're
right.
forgetting something.
Wait a minute.
We're forgetting what the Texas Supreme Court ruled, y'all. That's the point of the conversation that you're forgetting about here, and that's something that isn't usually talked about either in this whole conversation.
We'll get to that.
In the Texas State House, they have something called call to house, where all state representatives must be present unless you are excused, or they are supposed to be. The Texas State Supreme Court ruled that just as it requires individuals to come here, it also will now allow for individuals to be arrested and or detained if they do not appear to do their duties. That is what the Texas court ruled. Am I against that? Yes.
Hold on. What was their rationale? I get the
The call to house.
Typical
Call
Marshall
the house.
response. What was their
That was their rationale.
What was their
That's
rationale?
what you're
He
saying.
just gave you the rationale, Marshall.
Stop.
You
No,
didn't
let's
listen
not.
to it.
When we're talking about Texas state law, I'd like you to point me in a direction instead of saying just Google. I'm driving, so I can't do it anyway. But like, you made an academic claim. You need to be able to back that up. Like, you need to be able to quote.
Absolutely, Marshall. Absolutely, Marshall. So, you understand call of the house in the state of Texas, correct? You understand how that works, right, Marshall? Okay, so then, I'm just going to explain it to the people that don't. Call of the house in the state of Texas requires all members to stay within chambers unless excused. Any members who are not present can be sent for and arrested whenever they may be found by the sergeant at arms according to the House. Now, according to the Texas State Supreme Court, it ruled, it further affirmed in stating that just as members are to stay in the House, if they are not excused and if they do not appear, then they can legally be found as breaking Texas state law or breaking House policy and can also be arrested. That was what was ruled by the Texas State Supreme Court. Do I agree with it? No. And I'm going to put the ruling in the chat for you all because I understand everybody disagrees with what I'm saying. I disagree with the bullshit as well. I don't like it, but they can put you inside of the Texas House until the official business has been completed, which it has been, so she shouldn't be held. And I said that part as well.
Okay.
The problem that the thing that you're missing though.
Stop. Anson, I want you to be able to finish your points.
So it is, according to a Supreme Court ruling, if she fails to respond to a call, or after the call, she leaves the chamber, she leaves the house, then according to the state Supreme Court ruling, she can be arrested. Yes? Does everybody agree with that?
Apparently.
Whether it's right or wrong, does everybody agree that she is subject to arrest based upon a state Supreme Court ruling that if she does not respond to a call to the house or leaves the house without permission after that call to the house, she can be arrested? Is that
Okay,
correct?
until otherwise proven, let's assume that's
Yes,
true.
that's right.
Okay, all right. If that is right, now the question becomes, is it legal for the state troopers to follow that person, that representative, because they suspect she may be about to break the Supreme Court ruling requirement? Is it legal for them to follow her?
Anson, apparently that may or may not be. I think it's legal, but
Okay,
she has
it's
not
not.
asked for her permission.
No, she has to commit the act first.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a thing that
What are you
exists.
talking about?
No, I'm not talking whether it's moral, whether it's right or wrong. I'm trying to understand.
The Constitution. You can't search or seize. They can't be cornered in our house. Anson, same Constitution you and I made a pledge to. In the Bill of Rights, we do not grant all of our personal freedoms to be followed and harassed by the police.
I didn't say harassed. I didn't say harassed, Your Honor. I said followed. Is it legal
Yeah,
for
so
the
that was
state
someone
police?
else.
Is
That
it
wasn't me.
legal for
That wasn't Your Honor, just for the record. That was someone else.
Correct.
But that was David.
Is it legal for the state police to follow that representative?
Potentially, right? So if they have reason to believe that someone is going to commit a crime, just like anything else, right? Like if they think I may commit a murder, they can surveil me to see what's going on, right? Or if they have some cause, they can follow that cause to a logical conclusion. But that's not actually the question here, because what actually happened is that they wanted to force these legislators, did force many legislators to sign what they're calling a permission slip, which actually forces them to sign on to being tailed, which is essentially thought crime. Like they're saying, well, you're thinking about potentially not, basically you're thinking about denying quorum in the future. We want to make sure that there's a cop there so that when we issue a warrant for your arrest under the law, which there's no basis for that, and that is the problem. Is forcing them to commit to that.
I think I agree with that. I agree with you, Your Honor. I think that it is not a violation of the law for her to refuse to sign that document. That's not a violation of any law. It's not a violation of any Supreme Court ruling. Therefore, there is no legal mechanism in place to require her to sign that pledge, that document. Right? Everybody agree with that?
We agree with that.
Okay, great. Then if they want to expend the resources and just follow her all over this or wherever she goes, that's not breaking the law. It seems like a stupid squandering of valuable law enforcement resources, but they can follow her. And if in fact there is a call or whatever the term is, if there's a fact to call, she knows about it, and she then refuses to go to the house as called, the state troopers can arrest her. Correct?
Thank you, Anson. Yes, we understand that. We agree with that.
Then I rest my
Thank
case, and I'll listen.
Thank you. Now, before anybody says, stop. Before anybody does anything else, I'll let you make your point afterwards. Marshall has a report for us. Marshall, you have the floor.
So I've not been able to get a hold of any Texas representatives.
What, he was gonna get hold of somebody like the past
Like
fucking 10 minutes?
They're
The
either
fuck?
in the middle of session or they're doing
This guy's
something that
retarded.
I'm getting voicemail messages. I imagine what's been going on.
He's getting
high call
voicemails.
volume.
He's getting it. Fucking constituents are calling Marshall.
About, like, what makes sense and what doesn't in this case. The questions I would have would be, what are the House parliamentary rules? What's the law that we're talking about? As Aram cited, there was one. It allows the state government to do that. If I could wave a magic wand, I'm not going to have a bunch of state troopers follow people all over the place. It just it reeks of intimidation.
It does.
It reeks of intimidation. It may be legal, but it's certainly, to say the very least, is very short-sighted.
Yeah. Thank you, Marshall.
That's going to backfire.
This is the point I was trying to make with Steve, and I also didn't want to break it up with Anson. At some point, this is a discussion about theory. We can argue about the details all day, and at some point the details matter. But in theory, I think we all agree that this is wrong. Now this popcorn is open. Someone wanted to say something.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, this is what happens when you break the rules, you break the laws, and you do whatever you want. There's repercussions for doing whatever you want to do.
And I would change it from being wrong to being arbitrary. It's just arbitrary.
Marshall, I placed it in the chat for you from the Texas State Legislature in regards to the call to House, call to Senate to push them to show up to session. But it has never been used that you have to sign a permission slip to allow them to continue to follow you after the session. That is kind of a whole gray area here. That's why she is pressing charges.
I mean, if I were...
That's the part that isn't actually a gray area, and is the extra legal part that I've been trying to point out from the beginning, and why I said you were wrong before, is that part is the whole part that is the reason for her being detained, and that is not within the law. And that's the problem with what they're doing. In this case, it's actually not against the law to deny quorum, but there can be a civil arrest warrant issued. If they had arrested her, they would have been well within their rights, but by the time that this is actually happening, she's in the Capitol and no longer denying quorum. So they can't actually do that to her anymore. Because
They
at this
still
point,
can't
she actually is no
actually
longer denying quorum.
Well, no, that doesn't matter. When you, and I put it in the chat as well, the Texas State Legislature glossary. Once there is a call to House, and this is in almost every state. This isn't just Texas, by the way. Once there is a call to House, you have to get permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. You have to be told that you are now allowed to leave by the sergeant at arms. That is the one. That's kind of what's confusing a lot of people here. She hasn't been given permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. But please hold on. Please hold on, man. Please hold on.
You interrupted me.
I literally put it. I put it in the chat.
You literally just interrupted me, and now you're telling me not to interrupt you back.
You're right. You're right. You know, you're right, Your Honor. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat for you again. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat for you again. Because me and you, we agree that it's total bullshit. But from a legal standpoint here,
yeah, but you're missing
they are following the Texas
permission
State
slip
legislature.
is all that matters. You're making other points that aren't actually relevant to the point that I'm making. We agree that there is a law. We agree on that.
You're not catching the nuance. Your Honor is putting a nuance.
Your Honor is recognized.
Thank you. The thing that you're missing is that the fundamental thing that matters here is they are forcing her to sign a permission slip. That exact moment is not in law, and that is the problem.
it has never been done before, which is why I called it a gray area here. That's why I said she filed charges. Hold on. This does make it a gray area. What are you saying?
Jay, you're recognized. Wasn't it Jay that was talking?
Yes, and that's why I said this is what makes it a gray area here. It has never been before. Once there's a call to House, as I've stated, and it's in the chat as well, from the Texas State Legislature in and of itself, to describe their rules and policies for call to House. I'm sorry, for call of the House. And I quite put it in the chat for you, so I don't know why you're trying to argue this point with me. You have to receive permission to leave. Never in the state of Texas before, for you to be granted to leave, Has anyone ever tried to say you have to sign this petition slip in order for me to grant you the right to leave? Which is why I keep saying it's gray area right now until the Texas State Supreme Court goes back and says, yeah, no, this isn't okay, or yeah, no, he's allowed to do this because he did this action per the Texas State legislature. This is a little gray area to throw in.
Okay, Your Honor, do you feel? Hold it. Wait. Your Honor, do you feel that we've heard you? Jay, do you feel that we've heard you?
All right, so the thing that isn't gray area about this, and this is what I find very, very frustrating in what he's saying, is like if I decide to do a citizen's arrest against Marshall, right, and I say to him, hey, you've broken a law, I'm exercising my rights to arrest you, and I'm just going to detain you. This isn't about procedure and bylaws.
Marshall is recognized. Texas law. Marshall is recognized.
No. What I meant.
I'll raise this thing. Well, the criminal law has, under the U.S. system, is very defined and prescriptive. That's a good thing, right? We don't want people freestyling when it comes to the opportunity to exercise state violence or to detain people, or simply just in following the law, like according to good law enforcement, right? Of just maintaining the law and order and the peace and so on and so forth. We want it to be prescriptive and specific. Of just maintaining the law and order and the peace and so on and so forth. We want it to be prescriptive and specific. That is a good thing. We're forcing people to sign permission slips. That is not in the law. And that's not gray area because the law doesn't say it, so it's not there.
Yeah, we all know the permission slip is optional.
Wait. Your Honor has said that this is not gray area and it is not legal. Do I understand you, Your Honor?
The permission slip part, detaining someone for permission slips, that's not in the law. Right? Is at best extra legal.
Yes,
if not illegal.
Do you feel that we've heard your point?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Marshall?
More when I was mentioning bylaws, what I was meaning was the Sergeant at Arms of the Texas House, his enforcement wing is the DPS, at least as I understand the Texas Constitution. And so part of me trying to put this together, because I tend to agree with you. If it's not written, it's not there. The argument that you should have to sign a permission slip rankles my nose, to say the very least. I'm more curious whether the House Sergeant at Arms is able to hold her, and so that's why I said bylaws, because the Sergeant at Arms operates, at least as I understand it, and I could be totally wrong, but operates under the parliamentarian, or they're together. And so I was curious about the internal procedures of the Texas House that would do this stuff and then allow enforcement. Because I understand the part about the law, and I didn't intend to complain about the law itself. It's features that made the chamber work.
You're a reporter.
The Sergeant at Arms goes under the Department of Interior. I'm sorry, the Speaker of the House.
Yes. Let's let candidate, who has been very patient, and I appreciate him following the rules, let's let candidate make a statement.
Yeah, I think we've heard Your Honor repeat himself about 3 to 5 times now. It's up to this young woman if she wants to sign the slip or not. But if they imprisoned her in a library and said you can't leave unless you sign, well, you know what? She fell for the mouse. She could just sit there in the library, use the bathroom, and just live there. If she really wants to protest, she could do it. But you guys are wasting a whole lot of time talking about nothing. That's my opinion.
Well, you've chosen to stay here, and I appreciate that you have your opinion. I'm not sure I understand it. I think what you're saying is that you think that she has disobeyed the law by not staying for the quorum, and it's okay with you, and I'm putting words in your mouth intentionally, it's okay with you that the Texas House wants to monitor her and not ask for her permission to be monitored. That's okay with you. Do I understand your
she
point?
can protest all she wants, but she's going to reap the repercussions of her protest. That's fine. Go for it. Do it. Be a protester.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you feel that you've been heard. All right. We've had a long dialogue on this. Does anybody want to throw in? At this point, you're welcome. Yes, your mic is covered. Yes, you get your hand off your mouth.
Tucker came to the room. He didn't on stage. He didn't say anything. I don't know if he wants. And one thing that is mentioned in the chat, I think it's like good to remember, like to say it out loud, is that she's not just the woman; she is an elected representative.
That's correct.
Yeah, Yahtzee, he spoke earlier. I don't think you were here yet when he was talking.
Tucker, go ahead. Yassi's concerned that you feel hurt. Do you feel hurt?
I do, and apparently.
Okay, it's important to me that people feel hurt. Not necessarily that we agree, but that we feel hurt. And the other thing that's terribly important to me is we find what common ground we can. There isn't a lot of it, but there is some. And I think when we find that common ground, at least we can work towards something. So, thank you. Yassi makes a really outstanding point that it's not the woman. She is an elected representative equal to any man. Does anybody want to argue that? Thank you.
Yossi did it. Sorry, Yossi did it. It was from the chat. Dennis, I think, said it first. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Alan, can you remind everybody how many felonies Donald Trump is guilty of, please?
34.
34 felonies. So why doesn't the Congress just lock Donald Trump in the White House, and hold him, hostage and arrest him, because he's been convicted of 34 felonies, Alan?
I love that idea, John. Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. Why don't we just not let Donald Trump leave the White House, because he's guilty of 34 felonies? Duh, he's a felon. He's guilty of 34 felonies, and he's just roaming the land, doing whatever he wants, posting whatever he wants. I mean, come on, Alan, why can't Congress arrest him? 34 felonies.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Exception argument ever. This is the guy who was just saying he should be arrested and detained for thought crimes because FAFO or something. But now when it comes to Donald Trump, he's essentially arguing the opposite. Like, you can't make
Will he stick to it? But we don't know that true or false. So let's.
I mean, he'd have to be impeached first, Alan. I'm just saying, if we give him a notice and we say, we know you're guilty of 34 felonies, therefore we can't let you be the president anymore. I mean, why can't?
No, you have it. Jane has the floor.
With love, kick out John. This is getting dumb.
I just want to say, Alan, I feel like I've been heard. I feel like I've been heard, Alan. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Dismal, you have been invited to the stage. Sue, you're here. Do you have anything you want to throw in?
I think you should potentially remove John. If possible, he is trolling. He doesn't have much to offer in terms of actual information or substance. So what I would just say is what we're constantly pushing democratic values to the point where it's exhausting. We're literally denigrating certain things, and now we're thinking, oh, it's normal. It's just normal. It's just every day. Checkpoints in DC were not a thing under Biden or his predecessor or Bush, and this is just isn't normal. The crime rate in DC has gone down, yet we're pushing more people to more National Guards from areas of predominantly white areas where they're not going to be familiar with DC culture, and we're arming them with weapons, which is intimidating.
He moved me. Whoa, they deleted my Clubhouse. My Clubhouse account got deleted. Oh my God. On the spot deleted. I wonder why. What did I say? Okay, this has been Trump derangement syndrome. Unbelievable, but they just wiped out my Clubhouse account. We're probably going to have to go back to just recording Clubhouse. Anyways, this has been a Trump derangement syndrome Democrat liberal therapy session. This is Rep. Candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District of Illinois. Go to johnforcongress.com. Cannot believe they just deleted that shit. Holy shit. On the spot account deletion. Okay, well, that's the show then. I guess we'll see if we can just jump into an X account. Because I actually don't have any more Clubhouse accounts. Dr. Adams. I think Dr. Adams got me reported. We'll see.